Fantastic. So there's one thing about getting listings, right? Getting the listing appointment, and that's a whole different thing. Lead generation for listings, there's so many different ways. Just how JP said it, open houses, your marketing, your YouTube, your Instagram, just your sphere. Buyers, past buyers are going to be one of the best listing opportunities that you're going to have in the future. On average, we have homeowners move every 4 years. So every 4 years, someone you've worked with, no matter what, is gonna be selling their home. And you need to be the person to double side that deal. You're gonna need to be the person to give them the best experience possible. And by doing that is following up with clients even after you close. Don't ghost your clients after you close. But that's a whole nother topic. The topic here is, let's say you have that lead. What do you do with it? What are the steps that you need to take to make sure from that call, a few days later, you have a listing agreement in your hand and you're listing that property ASAP or when it's needed. Okay. Now, there are people here with experience. So, JP, you just went through the listing process. You kind of learned a few quirks and nicks, doing deals, listing the property, doing all the showings for the property. So we really value your opinion. As same thing with you, Sylvia. You're listing a property right now. Roger, I know you've done 1 to 2 listings before. So this is open conversation, everybody, and we invite all of your feedback. The very first thing is setting the appointment, right? You're on the phone with them. Typically, what it looks like a buyer consultation. So I'll give you guys examples in my world. Okay. Whenever someone calls me and is like they need to sell, maybe they haven't said it just yet. I'm just having a conversation with them. The same thing as the buyer consultation. You could still use the Ford method. You could still use the 4 Ws. You still want to connect with the clients because once they sell the house, you want to know what they need to do. So let's say, hey, I actually need to sell my home. Or maybe you ask them, hey, do you have a home to sell before you purchase? And if they say yes, okay, fantastic. Then I go right back to what they're looking to purchase. I don't hone in, and like a lot of times, us realtors, we freak the hell out whenever someone says, I need to sell my house. We freeze up. We don't know what to say. We think it's a whole different realm of questions we need to ask. We freeze. And I'm guilty of this as well. So I'm teaching you my mistakes that I've done so you don't have to make them. But just keep the conversation going. Get them excited about their next steps. Okay, hey, by the way, once we get this property sold, what are you looking to do? Where do you want to move? What does that house look like? What's the location? What's nearby? When you picture that new home, what's it going to look like to you? Already get them past, hey, we sold your house. What's the next step? What are you doing once you sell that house? Okay, fantastic. You want a 4 bed, 3 bath with 2 acres in Ocala, 1,500 square feet, ranch style home. You want to have some cows and horses. Awesome, awesome. All right. So for us to get you to that point, let's get you into a little bit about selling this home. When are you available for you to give me a tour of it and we can break down exactly how we're going to sell your home for top dollar? There's so many ways to go about it, but you just need to set the appointment to get inside. Sometimes they're going to say, hey, how much do you think I can sell it for? You're gonna be like, hey, I can run some comps on it, but to be honest, I imagine you've done a lot of upgrades on that home, and I can't price it until I've seen every single inch of that property and know every single thing about that home. So what do you say we set up a time? I'm available next Thursday. Will you be available to show me the home and we can talk about some details? Those are a few different ways you can just set that appointment, right? The best way, the best way is really the one I just said. I'm sure you've made so many beautiful upgrades in that home and you put a lot of care into it, but I can't price it unless I know every single detail you've upgraded in that home. I'm available next Thursday. What does your schedule look like? When's a good time for you? Right? Now, before you go to that appointment, you already want to have done a CMA, right? You already want to have you already have a good understanding of the market, what this home can sell at, what the comparable homes sold for. You already want to have a really good idea of this. You need to know where you want to price it before you walk in there, depending on the condition. So you can give yourself a range of down here, let's say 500 if it's in terrible condition, all the way up to 575, 600 if it's in great condition. It all depends on the comps and once you get into the house. But you already want to have a range, an idea of where you're going to price it. Next step is the home tour. This is the easiest part, to be honest. Once you get to the house, you want to build a little bit of rapport with them. You want to talk to them. Hey, how's it going? Be that I personality for a little bit. Talk to them. How's everything going? Oh my goodness, when did you guys buy? Even when you ask them when they buy, you already looked at the tax record. You know when they bought, you know what they bought it for. But you want to just chat with them, build some rapport. You don't want to just go straight into it. Talk to them, get to know them a little bit, have some fun. And then after that, perfect, guys. What do you say? Give me the grand tour of your property. Show me every single detail. Give me the ins and outs. I need to know every single detail of this home in order to market and sell it properly. And then from there, you just shut up. They're going to tell you everything. Get your notepad out, get your phone out, get your iPad, whatever you need, and start taking notes. Okay? If you have questions, just be very direct. Hey, what is this question? What is this? What is this? This is not rapport building time during the home tour. This is you analyzing and understanding everything about the property. Okay? This is where there's a switch. This is where I flip a switch. Okay? I'm in rapport building time. Once we start doing the home tour, I'm a professional realtor focused on understanding this home. When you're walking through that property as well, you can already start thinking about if you are going to do a YouTube video on it, how are you going to present it? What are some things you're going to say in this room? What are some things you're going to say in this room? You already want to be thinking of these things. Okay. So, few points here. Walk through each room, take notes on layout, condition of floors, walls, ceilings, windows, etc. Check for appliances and fixtures. Turn on faucets, flush toilets, test the oven, refrigerator. Know any issues. You also want to know, are appliances coming with the home? What are you leaving for the sellers or buyers? What are you leaving for? Are you going to take your fans? Are you going to take your refrigerator? What are some of the fixtures attached to the home that aren't coming with it? Look at the roof, the siding, the windows, the driveway, landscaping. Look at some of the things that you might need to brush up on before you list and any repairs that are needed. You want to continuously be asking about upgrades, get info on the new roof, remodeled kitchen, and just trying to get some highlights for the marketing of the property. And you also just how when we ask in the buyer consultation, hey, what is that one thing you need in your home? Same thing on the selling side. What is that? What is the most special features about this property here? And they'd be happy to tell you. They'll be happy to tell you everything. So, step one, appointment. Step two, report and home tour.
Question.
Yes, sir.
When they call you for a listing, you talk about the commission. If they ask you, you tell them
No. I
you
talk to them about commission and pricing at the very end of the listing appointment.
if they what about if they ask you in the call?
Oh, they always do. They always ask you, hey, what do you charge and how much is the house? Right? Every single time. Sylvia, have you ever gotten a listing appointment Or have you ever got a call that they didn't ask you, what can I sell my house for? Or how much do you charge?
Yeah, they always ask that question. It's a trap.
It,
Don't
it's
answer it.
it, it's a trap. You redirect that question in whatever
Yeah.
way possible.
Mm.
The same way I redirect the pricing thing, I redirect the commission. Hey, I'm a very aggressive with my commissions, but once we get to the appointment, I'm gonna break down everything for you super clearly so you understand and can make a great decision. When's a good time to meet?
Roger, algo que yo usé en este último listado, yo se lo expliqué a usted y a Will en la oficina el jueves pasado. Es decirle, ¿y cuánto cobras? Mira, para serte sincero, es que mi comisión es flexible. Tú vas a tener opciones para el pago de la comisión. Yo te puedo explicar todo eso en la cita. Entonces ya las opciones, no es una mentira, porque las opciones que tienen es, como les había dicho, el 4% si yo traigo el comprador, 5.5% si el comprador viene de otro agente y, eh, y 2.5% si ellos me traen el comprador, you know?
Yeah.
O sea, si el mismo dueño trae el comprador, pues ellos tienen para hacer eso. Entonces, eso fue casi que lo primero que me preguntaron estas personas del listado del millón, porque ellos estaban en una comisión de 4% regardless. Era 2 y 2. Entonces yo le dije, no,
Oh,
la cosa es que nosotros ofrecemos de comisión, nosotros tenemos opciones y tú vas a poder escoger qué opción quieres. A mí todo eso te lo puedo explicar durante nuestra cita.
Yeah.
ok,
Entonces ya
claro,
con ellos también les trae más curiosidad, como que, oh, shit,
Yeah.
opciones,
claro.
¿cuáles serán las
Y
opciones? Bla,
sí,
bla, bla.
claro.
I'm,
Incluso si el listado, por ejemplo, el listado de Miami, tú nunca hablaste con ellos de comisión, Reyson.
Ninguna. Ellos me preguntó, acabo que yo dijo, mira, tenemos, yo te voy a explicar todo cuando estamos ahí. I've never had an objection on commit. As to today, I've only reduced my commission once on a listing, but I've never had objections with the way I've handled it. Now, for everybody, JP just said, the way he handles it is say, hey, I actually have some different options on commission that you're going to be able to choose. And that's super smart because there are different ways. Hey, if I bring the buyer, it's going to be, we can charge 4.5%. If a buyer's agent brings a buyer, it's 6.5%, 5.5%, whatever. But there are going to be options that you're going to be able to choose. We're going to break down everything for you at the listing appointment. Right? We're not answering those questions though, right off the bat. We delay until we get into the home. Sylvia.
I was going to say, I really love that, JP, what you said, and that I like that. I've also used my commission is 3%. Let's talk when we get there. We'll talk more about how much you would like to pay the buyer's agent, the one who's marketing your property out to buyers. Let's talk more about that after we see the home and see if we can really serve you. And that may change, come July. That all may change. I got to tweak it.
That conversation, it I see where you're coming from, Sylvia. I'm not going to tell you you can't do it because if you have an opportunity for a listing, at the end of the day, you're gonna be the one on that call, getting yourself to that appointment. I always I don't give a percentage or number until I show them the value first. That's my thought process behind it. If I tell them 3% plus a buyer's agent commission and they don't understand the value I'm going to bring them, there's a higher possibility of them just saying, hey, on to the next. The guy is offering 2, and we just give a buyer's agent 1.5 or 2%. So until they understand my value, I don't give them any percentage.
Agree. And actually, that conversation happened when I was there at the listing appointment. I shouldn't say it happened before. It was happening in the listing appointment.
Yeah.
So I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. Now, again, it really depends. Maybe you already have rapport with that seller. Like you already know them. They're gonna work with you no matter what. And it's a little bit more direct, the conversation. But also you wanna handle it based off the scenario that you're seeing in front of you, right? But Typically, if it's a new seller, I show my value before I talk about any commissions. Yeah. Perfect. JP, great point. Sylvia, great point. Roger, everything pretty clear with kind of commissions and pricing before we get into the house and show our value? Awesome. Step number 3. After the home tour, I'm like, hey guys, can we take a seat real quick? Let's talk a little bit about what we can do for you. This is where I tell them a little bit about who we are, who I am. I talk about the team and our office history. Right? This isn't we're not showboating. We're just showing who we are and what we've done and how our proven repeatable system works. Right? It's not like, hey, by the way, we sold, by the way, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the guy. You're not there to just boast about yourself. You're there to boast about the team. You're there to boast about the results you're getting for clients. Maybe you can take past reviews. Show them a few past clients, what you've done for them, how you've sold Sylvia. There shouldn't go a listing appointment that you don't talk about this scenario with Angie. How we negotiated them $15K over with a 2-month free lease back. You kidding me? That's a deal. JP, same situation with you. There shouldn't go a listing appointment where we don't talk about our past wins. Hey, last year we sold 12 homes. 7 of those homes sold over ask. The other 5 sold exactly where we priced it at. Our average days on market is 18 days. The national average days on market is 46 days. This is what we do for our sellers. Now, I want to tell you, before we get into what we do, I want to tell you what the average agent does. And if you do interview other people, I already know what they're going to try and sell you on. I already know what they're going to tell you. Let me show you real quick. They're going to tell you, hey, I'm going to upload the MLS I'm going to get your property on 5,000 different websites and marketed it out to everybody. We're going to have you on Zillow. You know Zillow? We're going to get you on Zillow. You know Realtor.com? We're going to get you on Real. And then we just tell them, by the way, the minute you upload it on the MLS, it goes on all those websites no matter what. All right. The average agent is going to take their own pictures. They're going to save $200-300 and take their own vertical 1080p 4K with no, I don't even know. They're going to take their crappy pictures. They're going to try and charge you a huge transaction fee. They're going to do whatever it is. You want to tell them what the average agent's going to do. But let me show you why we're a little bit different and what we have to offer, right? And this is where I do show them my YouTube channel. I show them my analytics of how many people view our channel every month. But I also show them your guys' channel. I also show them JP, Wilfredo, Roger, Sylvia's channel to come. Sylvia, actually someone commented on my video asking about your channel, because I said our whole team has a channel. There's a guy who actually, I want to look up Sylvia's channel. But and then I also talk about our office. Ranzel, Paula Diaz. Hey, we're gonna get these folks to do videos. Can't promise it, but we're gonna do our best to. But for sure, our team's gonna do a video on these properties. Step number 4, tell them a little bit about the marketing on this home, right? So not even the go live system. I say we're gonna have a marketing day on Tuesday. Now, before we go live, we have our marketing day on Tuesday. This is where we're gonna do our YouTube video. This is where we're gonna do our professional photos. By the way, our professional photographer is Mr. JP and his team. Okay. And this is where we're going to start doing all the marketing for the property. We're going to do our vertical reels for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. We're going to have our long form video of YouTube. We're also going to have our professional photographer. Just so you know the quality of photos that we're going to give you, let me show you some of our past listings. right? Now let me show you what other agents are doing. And it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me that agents these days are still not using professional photographers. It's so wild. Like, and you tell this to sellers, hey, a lot of people, there are a lot of agents out there, but not every agent, most agents don't know how to use the MLS. They don't know what picture should be your top 3 pictures. They don't use professional photographers. Let me show you. Say 40% of listings are with someone's cell phone, especially in Ocala. Damn, it's probably a 70-30 ratio. I don't know. These Ocala agents need some help, but it's true. Not everybody knows how to use the MLS, right? Your top 3 photos on every single listing need to be the sexiest photos of the home. It doesn't have to be in order. The first 3 photos don't need to be about the front of the home or aerial view. Only the first photo needs to be of the front of the house. Your next 2 photos need to be of the second best attributes that the home has to offer. The home has a pool, you show that pool. The home has an upgraded kitchen, you show that kitchen. If the home has a beautiful master bedroom, you show that master bedroom. Your top 3 photos are the most important photos. Okay. After our marketing day, we're going to get our property live on a Thursday. We all know the go live system by now. But Mr. Wilfredo, can you explain to us why, like if the seller asks, why on a Thursday? Why not on a Friday or a Sunday night or a Monday morning when it's the start of the week? Why, like, Wilfredo, why are we gonna list it on a Thursday?
Because we want to build momentum up. We want to get people excited to see it. So when we have the open house on the weekend, we jam pack it and have a bidding war. So you just want to get people excited. So a lot of people show up for the open house.
Awesome. Now, that's a great way, Wilfredo. Also, hey, whenever you walk into a property or whenever you walk into a property and you see 5, 6 other people interested in that same property, what's that going to do to a buyer? Someone who wants that house. It's going to give you a sense of like, damn, I need to get this house before they do. They're already planning out where they're going to put their couch and TV. On JP's listing, I bet they're like, yo, I'm going to put my TV on this nice black accent wall. I'm gonna have a UFC center in the back theater studio. I bet they're already planning out the house. And once they hear that, they're gonna be like, it gives you a sense of urgency, right? And I give it the perfect example is I went with the cash buyer to one of Bobby Davidowitz. One of my mentors. He's one of our mentors here in the office. You see him once a month at the sales rally, teaching his Bob report. And he had a listing in Conway. Did the go live system, priced it super well, beautiful house. And I took my cash buyer. There were 7 people in that house. And it wasn't just like 7 people looking around quiet. It was like a party. It was a freaking party in there. Bobby had music, he had some snacks out. People were already picturing and designing their living room, the backyard. Hey, I'm gonna put a shed back here. I'm gonna create a little walkway, put my cabana. I was like, yo, what is going on? And you know what my buyer was like? Like, yo, Renzo, how long do you think this is gonna last? I'm like, it's not. Might be a day, might be 2 days. It'll be pending by Monday for sure. But this is the sense of urgency we want to create on this property. That's why we list it on a Thursday and do the open house Saturday and Sunday. Anyone who wants to see the house from Thursday to Friday, they have to wait until Saturday or Sunday. They have to wait to the open house so they can go look at the house with their competition. So they can go fight for their house. Put them in a cage and make them see who wants it most. That's some like gladiator type stuff, but I don't. But
So
anyway,
Renzo,
yep.
Renz, So do you put it in Realtor remarks that no showings until the first day of open house?
Yeah, you want to put that in realtor remarks. Great point, Sylvia. You want to put it in realtor remarks. Now there's always going to be that agent like, hey, we can't get there on Saturday or Sunday. They're leaving town. You're always going to get that. You're always going to get that. And I might let one or two agents in, but for the most part, I say, hey, it's strictly Saturday and Sunday, right? Just depends on the situation. If they can, just push them to Saturday or Sunday. Marketing, photographs, YouTube video. This was actually step 4. Step 4 and 5 got switched up, but the Tuesday before the house goes live, we're gonna have a professional photography, hire a professional real estate photographer to capture high quality photos. This is where you want to show them. Your past listing photos. Bad. Video tour, drone photography, 3D virtual tour, brochures. JP, do you oh, there he is. Hey, JP, question for you.
Hey, what's up?
Do
Yeah,
you have the ability, like, have you thought about doing 3D virtual tours or offering that service for some of your clients?
I do. I've done it plenty of time.
Awesome. So 3D virtual tour. Let's get that in there as well. So that's going to help buyers who see it on Zillow or see it on the MLS get a better idea of the property without getting a real life feeling of what it's going to look like. Right? And then brochures, you want to have some papers, the open house forms. You can get all of that on listreports.com very accessibly. Okay. This is step 4. The past one we looked at was step 5. So marketing on Tuesday, listing the property on a Thursday, doing the go live system. Now, once we do the go live system, the next step is going to be reviewing our offers and competition, right? If we price the property correctly, like Sylvia did, we had offers the first couple of days on the market, and this is a $500,000 property. This is a property, guys. And we're going to negotiate highest and best. Sylvia went above and beyond and actually got like, hey, what was that document? I've never even seen that thing in my life. What was that document, Sylvia? Like,
A
hey,
multiple offers document, notice?
so Sylvia sent out a document to the buyers saying, hey, by the way, we got multiple offers. Sign this paper. So just to let you know, we're negotiating your offers and leveraging them and using it to get a better offer on other ones. That's savage, Sylvia. That is that is savage. But at the end of the day, you can do that on a property like this. You can do that on a listing like this, right? So, and then you want to break it down to them. So when we get an offer, guys, I want you to understand exactly what we're looking for, right? The best thing is, or the thing we're going to look for the most is going to be cash buyers. Fastest closings, least amount of contingencies. This is going to be our strongest offer. Next, we're looking for conventional. This is our most common type of loan, requires a good down payment and very solid credit. FHA is going to be our third option, low down payment options with lower credit scores. And VA, no down payment required for eligible veterans. A pretty secure loan, but there are a few more kind of things that they check on the appraisal, and you're also going to need what is it? The wood destroying organism form or test. You're going to need a termite test. And then there's alternative financing, hard money, private lenders. They're going to have higher interest rates, high fees, somewhat flexible guidelines, and they can typically do quick closings. This is what we're looking for in order. In order. Now, a lot of times when you see hard money, they're just gonna go ahead, and put cash. Right? If I had a hard money buyer, I'm just putting it cash with no contingencies. Like if they're solid, like if they know they're getting that hard money financed, I'm putting cash. Now, if you're like, we're not too sure, or maybe we're still working with a few lenders, you might want to put a financing contingency and then put that it's alternative financing in the contract. But this is what we're looking for. And we're going to negotiate the highest and best offer, right? The seller needs a lease back. We're going to negotiate. This is, guys, this is where we have fun. This is where we get to negotiate, right? You have this situation, you sit back. Have you ever seen that meme of like that Renaissance guy just looking over everybody, kind of with his like robe on and everything, just like he's the king? Feel like the king in this situation. Negotiate with everybody. Hey, by the way, you know, we have somebody who's offering this. Is there anything else you guys can do for us? By the way, look, we don't want to play this game. We have an offer here. If you can give us XYZ, we'll accept your offer. In Sylvia's case, it was extra $15,000 with a 2-month free lease back. And it took 3-4 times around to get that negotiated. Learn to, and we're going to practice this, especially when you get the listing. We're going to do our first couple listings together, but you're going to be able to practice negotiating this stuff. Okay. Any questions on this? Any pointers?
I want to share something if I may. When you call for backup offers, which is really cool, be sure to negotiate that backup offer before you have that seller sign it. Because you can go ahead and pre-negotiate the offer. You should. That's smart. I didn't really do it like that. And I thought about it, I was like, man, if this backup offer comes in place, it's probably not the best. But my point is negotiate that offer to the finest point before it becomes a backup offer. Because once you sign it, it actually is officially an offer, a backup offer, but still, it's official.
Yeah. Exactly.
We won't get to that point. I'm very sure, but still.
Yeah. Give me 1 second, guys.
And
Awesome.
one more thing too, the multiple offer notice that I put in place, it actually is a protection for the seller. So even if she does have an offer, she can still be negotiating another third, fourth offer amongst all the offers
Yeah.
that are backup. So that was a protection for her. She's not locked in. If somebody comes and they want to pay 600,000, she could decide to take that offer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. Guys, next step is accept an offer, make sure the buyer is on track to close. Right? Sellers don't have much to do during this process. They have to fill out a few documents from the title company on, where the money is going to go. Just fill out a few disclosures, getting some settlement statements. But for the most part, our job is also to look after the buyer's agent. In this case, if you have a brand new agent, help that agent. If you have an unexperienced agent with a buyer and they don't know what the hell they're doing, give them a lending hand, support them, and then recruit them. If you're an agent and you're not that like arrogant agent trying to show everybody, hey, I know this, I know that. You want to be friends with every single agent you work with. And we're going to touch on this a little bit. Guys, there are so many people, like especially ones that have been in the business for like, those 5, 10, 15 plus years that, they've done a good amount of deals, they've been in the business and they want to show off like, hey, I know my stuff, or I know this, I know that. They want to show off. You're going to get those calls, you're going to get those agents, but it's our responsibility to show emotional control in those situations. If an agent comes to me and is like, hey, Renzo, you need to tell your seller this, this, and this, and this. Or like, hey, let me, I've been in the business Let me tell you what you need to do with your seller so we can get this going. My first reaction is like, yo, who the hell are you? Shut the F up. You know, shut your damn mouth. You don't know what you don't know what you're doing. Who are you talking to? That's our first initial reaction, right? It strikes at our ego a little bit. It's like, yo, you want to fight? What is it? You know, but the way we should respond is, hey, those are some great suggestions. I appreciate it. Let me talk to my sellers and see what we can do. Because the minute they overstretch themselves, the minute he revealed himself to me, him or her, if they're talking to me like that, they already showed me their insecurities. They already showed me, hey, I'm trying to show something like, hey, I know this, I know that. Instead of arguing with them, which will do absolutely nothing, you put them in your corner. Hey, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. That's a great idea. Let me talk to my seller, see what we can do. You figured them out. Be the bigger person in those situations. You're going to run into these agents all the damn time. Don't let them get it. Don't let them get in your head or anything like that. Be the bigger person. Show emotional control and get to the next steps. They revealed themselves. Next time you go back to them, they're more likely to listen to you now because you listen to them. You kind of cater to their insecurities. Hey, by the way, next time you call them, hey, by the way, that advice you gave me was great, man. Let me ask you this. Can you talk to your buyers and see if we can do XYZ? You're caressing his insecurity, and then he's going to go do you a solid. Right? Does that make sense to everybody? Fantastic. So it's still important for the sellers to understand the buyer's process because they're about to go through it themselves, especially if they're buying a home. Review all the details of the buyer's offers, including price, contingencies, closing date, negotiate any other areas, formally accept the offer, work with the title company to open all escrows, monitor the contingencies. You want to see that inspection goes clean. You want to see that the appraisal goes clean. You want to contact the lender frequently. You want to contact the lender frequently to make sure the buyer's financing is going well. Schedule the final walkthrough, close the deal. Everybody gets their check. At the end of the day, everybody wants their check. The sellers want their check. The buyers want their house. The buyer's agent wants their check. And the listing agents want their check. There's no need to fight. We're all on the same team here. Now, after I talk about all of this, we're going to be like, yeah, hey, Renzo, hold on. We just talked about the whole process. What the hell you haven't told me anything about what we're going to price this property at. Happens every time. It happened in this conversation. Roger's like, hey, what about the price? Happens every single time. You're like, hey, fantastic. Let's talk about that right now. Just curious, what do you think the market value for your home is right now? And you get their price. This is how you're going to start, and this is how you're going to end the conversation of pricing with the question. What do you think the market value of your home is? Sylvia, right now, that house in Mineola, what do you think the market value of that home is that you own in Mineola?
Say it is about, I would say about 415.
415, nice. Now, Sylvia, I'm gonna look at this property the exact same way that an appraiser will look at this property, right? When someone comes to buy this home and if they're financing it, they have to get an appraisal. If that appraisal comes in below what the contract is, what's going to happen is the buyers either have to pay the difference in cash or we're going to have to renegotiate to the market value of the home. Now, we don't want to get in that situation. But your home does have value, but we want to make sure we're close to where the appraiser is going to be, right? If you're within 5 to 10 grand of where an appraiser is going to put it, they'll still they look at contracts and appraisers are funny. They'll look at a contract and price it completely different just based off what the contract says. Some appraisers are just lazy. I like lazy appraisers, to be honest, because they just give you what you want. Truthfully. But we're gonna look at this property exactly the same way an appraiser does. And then you walk them through the CMA. We need to be experts on CMAs, and that's actually what we're doing next Monday, is how to do a CMA. You do the
I've even
CMA.
had sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I've even had an appraiser come and ask me, hey, did you have the comps for this property? And I was like, yeah, I sure do, by the way, just in case you needed it. But
Yeah.
they shouldn't be asking me that. But
Exactly. And
I
they,
stay out of harm's way. I don't offer it, but if they ask, I'm ready to deliver.
exactly. You want to walk them through the CMA. So you could print out a piece of paper with the CMA already done, but I like showing them exactly on the MLS what's available. We did it with JP's listing, with your listing, Sylvia, and they were able to get a clear understanding of what their property is worth. We list properties at market value, or or below market value. Overpricing for room for negotiations is old and it doesn't work. All it's going to do is bring crickets. And I like to give the example, whenever we look at a home and let's say we're looking at a home on Zillow and it's priced 30K over what the Zillow estimate is, even though the Zillow estimate is inaccurate. People would take Zillow estimate by heart. Like they're like, yo, I live by Zillow estimate. People love Zillow. But if people see that it's 30K over, they're like, oh, are you crazy? I don't even want to look at this. I'm not touching this property. And then the minute you reduce the price because you're not getting any attraction on the home, oh, that's going to send another notification out on Zillow. It's going to show, okay, you're willing to negotiate. And what's that going to bring? That's going to bring really low ball offers. It's going to bring very aggressive offers. And it's probably going to bring in offers below what we would have listed it at if we even put it below market value. So if that house is 415, Sylvia, let's list it at 410. But if you started off at 430, 435, people are going to start offering 395, 400. You'll be below where you even started beforehand. But if you start at market value or right below market value, you're going to get way more attraction on the property. You're going to get way more people in the home because it's a fair deal and they understand, hey, it's actually a good deal. And then they might even pay a little bit extra for the property as well. If you do if it's the right fit, it's the right combination and you do your job well. Once you finish the CMA, ask them again. Now, what do you think the market value of your home is now after seeing the way an appraiser is going to look at this property? And most of the time, you don't even have to tell them a price because they're going to price it for you. This happened to us, Roger, right? Vas a comer el gato. But this happened when we were down in South Florida. Sylvia, this happened with you. JP, that house is a little bit of a different situation. But with all of our listings, the same exact thing happens. The sellers price the property for me after seeing the CMA. If they're reasonable people, they understand what the market looks like, right? So then they're going to tell you, hey, you know what? Actually, I think my house is worth like 415 after seeing all of this. I agree with you. What do you say we list it at 415? Do some amazing marketing, try and get it sold for 420, 425. Most of the time, the sellers will drop the price where it should be. From there, you can come up with an aggressive list price. That's the way I handle pricing the property. I always go aggressive. When I say aggressive, I like pricing it below list price or market value every time. Every single time, that's what I go for. So it sells quick and we negotiate and we get more than what we're looking for. Next step. All right, Renzo, cool. The price is great. Marketing looks cool. How much is this going to cost me? On the phone, you said you'd break it down for me. I haven't heard anything yet. Great question. Commission super important because it's going to factor into how much you're going to be walking away with after everything is said and done. If you do the presentation and portray your value correctly, most sellers won't object to your commission. I'd say my past 7 listing appointments, I haven't had any objections after I broke down the whole listing appointment. Okay, I always charge 6.5%, but since you called me from YouTube, I will drop that 1 full percent and we'll do it for 5.5. 3% for me and 2.5% for the buyer. That's what I charge, and I don't really budge from that number. Now, another thing I like to say is, and I said this in almost in the past few listing appointments, is guys, you guys have a beautiful home here. You did all the upgrades, you did everything. You guys understand the value you have in this home, right? Just how you understand the value you have in your home, I understand the value of services that I can offer to a seller. That's why I'm very firm with my price, because I know my value, just how you know the value of your home. So I connect it immediately with something that they're emotionally attached to. Common objection. But I had an agent from La Rosa who said they'll do it for 4%. You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up and that you also interviewed other agents and pointed that out. And I'm sure you understand that not every service has the same price nor the same value. In real estate, the term you get what you pay for has never been more true. And this is where I also like to kind of portray something in their business. So I have a listing going live on Thursday, and the sellers, he he sells jewelry. He does custom jewelry, right? So he sells it to really expensive people, and he's like, I'm just curious, why do people buy jewelry from you and not from your competitor? Oh, well, because I'm better and I offer better services. It's the same exact thing. It's the value and money that you're going to be able to save, and the value you're portraying. Having a crappy agent, let me just show you what it's going to do to you. And then you can bring them an example on the MLS. Look, they overpriced their property. They had horrible pictures. They didn't market it. The listing description is horrible. Here's the realtor remarks. Showings were very inaccessible. You're either not going to sell it or you're going to sell it for a price that you absolutely did not want to go with. Real estate is not an easy thing. Guys, you understand this more than everybody. Real estate is not easy. When we first came into business, we thought it'd be like a honeymoon and cupcakes and picking up checks and that's it. It's not easy. What we do is not easy, but that's why we get paid a lot of money. We get paid a lot of money for our services. One deal gets you paid. So you can translate that into something that they work in a field that they work in. So in JP's scenario, it's like, hey, you're a home builder. You also understand that you get what you pay for when it comes to home building. I could either buy a Casa Idalia or I could pay Bacan Home to try and build a luxury home. It's not going to work out. It's not going to be the same value. It's not going to be the same thing. At the end of the day, working with a cheaper agent, you're gonna be you're gonna be spending a lot more, losing a lot more money, I'd say. The idea is you don't even have objections because you portrayed value so well to them. The past listing agent, JP said they were working for 4%, and they got a 4% type of service. The reason JP got that listing is because the listing agent was offering a 4% type of listing commission or a listing service. They didn't even pick up the phone. They didn't even call the sellers. The listing agent gave JP the seller's contact info. How wild is that? Hey, take my client from me. That listing agent is going to be kicking herself in the face when they see JP just double-sided this house.
Se la pusieron, pero papita.
Literally. So, guys, at the end of the day, we offer a great service. We shouldn't get objections, but if it does, this is a great way to handle it. Repeat the steps and let's get started. Right? Same thing in the buyer consultation. Let's repeat the steps here. Make it to them as clear as possible what's going to be going on through this conversation or through this process. Hey, once the price is finalized, the sellers understand everything. It's time to get things rolling. So guys, everything looks good. Any questions? Okay, great. In order for me to get started with the marketing of the property, we just need to fill out all the paperwork. Right? We can do that now, or I can send it to you via DocuSign. Which would you prefer? These are the documents that you need. Exclusive right of sale listing agreement, transaction broker. This is going to allow you to work both sides of the transaction. So if you find a buyer, you're going to be able to work with the buyer as well. If you get single agent, you're then later going to have to fill out a consent to transaction broker document. So it's easier to just go transaction broker. So if you do find the buyer, you can work with them directly without having to sign any other documents. Seller property disclosure, that's something that needs to get filled out by the sellers. HOA addendum, if it's an HOA, lead-based paint, if it's before 1978, wire fraud and ABA disclosures. I typically don't get this filled out. I just have the TC get that filled out. I get the TC to fill that out once we get under contract. From there, ladies and gentlemen, it's just about executing. It's just about getting it done. The TC can help you get it uploaded into the MLS, and then you can do the final revisions and touch-ups. Do all the photos. JP gets the photography done. He'll have it to you. He'll have photos. JP, when do you typically have photos? So if you do photos on Tuesday, you get it to us like Thursday morning.
There's a 24-hour turnaround. I mean, if you want a full suite, like you want photos and a 3D tour, and you want your photos virtually staged, or they need to be decluttered, like I'm gonna need more than 24 hours on that. So case by case. If you just need photos, 24 hours, I'll have them back to you.
Okay.
But depending on what you want, I would say definitely try to give yourself time. Like the last thing I would want is for you to, if you could do it before Tuesday, where I can get them to you on like a Wednesday, or have Wednesday to get them back to you.
Yeah.
Where it's more than 24 hours, keep that as a safe bet. If not, I'll do everything in my power to get them back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But try to give yourself more than a day buffer to get all your marketing materials in order.
So with that being said, JP, I do have a listing going live on Thursday. I know we're gonna go out tomorrow. It is a pretty big home. I do want to do the most for this listing. I'm still not giving you a lot of time here, am I?
No, but I mean, we'll be good. We'll be
We'll
good, right?
get it.
For
Yeah,
sure.
we'll get it
For
figured
this
out.
one.
But
Yeah, we'll be fine.
for future reference, guys, let's give JP 48 to 72 hours. Probably the weekend before would be ideal. So he can get things squared away with his team of photographers. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. There are other programs that some of the top listing agents do, like Corinne. She was the number 2 agent in the office last year. Everything is just sellers. She offers different levels of packages. Now that's one way of doing it. I'm gonna try and get her in doing a class to break that down. Some of it's like, hey, 4% if we bring the buyer, 4.5% if you just want me to list it on the MLS. Like there's different packages that works well. But this is the system that I've been using and it works so far, right? I'm not I don't call myself a listing agent, but this is the process that I use to execute on listings and getting them sold. Another thing, what was it? Just flew by my head. Oh yeah. Whenever I do talk about commissions, I also say, hey, the biggest benefit is a lot of times I get it sold, I find the buyer, and whenever that happens, I only charge 4 or 4.5%. So you can pick out your number there, but if you bring the buyer, I typically drop my commission. Now that's up to you guys how you want to structure that. But if I bring a buyer, I'll drop it to 4.5 to 4 or 4.5. Okay. Guys, that is it. Now, hello, Chris. Are you there? Glenda?
Yes, I'm here.
Can we see, can we get the cameras live? So everybody, this is just a quick introduction. Chriselle is a new transaction coordinator on the team. Want you guys to get accustomed with her. Unfortunately, Diane had some pretty crazy things happening in her personal life with the baby and just some stuff going on. Chriselle is right now the TC for the team. Chriselle, this is all the agents: Wilfredo, JP, Sylvia, Roger. Just so you could get to know everybody.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So Chriselle has many years of experience working as a TC. And so whenever you need an offer, whenever you need something, upload a listing in the MLS. She is here for you. Also, make sure we get all our transactions over to her as soon as we get them executed so she can upload it into SkySlope. And if you ever need anything, just hop in Zoom and she'll be able to help you with addendums, contracts, and itineraries as well. Awesome. And this is Glenda. I don't know if anyone knows Glenda. And Maria Camila.
Hi, everyone.
But awesome. Guys, that is it for today. Are there any final thoughts, questions, points that they want to plug in here, nuggets of wisdom about kind of the listing agreement or getting into the listings? Anything else you guys want to plug in?
Roger, I have an answer to your question on WhatsApp for KHOVE rep and Kalesa. So I'll put it there. I got the phone numbers for you, okay?
Thank you, appreciate it. The K-Hope phone number.
Yeah, I got it for you. I'll put it on WhatsApp.
Thank you, appreciate it, Sylvia.
Welcome.
I got a question for Chriselle about the document we were talking last week. Chriselle,
Hi, sorry. I was just checking some file.
how are
Sorry.
you? Everything good?
Good. So we were still waiting for, I think, the